Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 10 of Celestial Journey. I'm mining a bunch of obsidian. I'll show you what it's for in a second. One bag full of obsidian and some other goodies. Cute trick, if you shift right click a satchel on an inventory, it empties the items into it. At least the items that fit. So what am I going to do with all that obsidian? Well, first of all, I need a bunch of void upgrades. And I also need it for dark steel. But I had run out earlier, so now I have 3,000 again. Anyways, the reason I have to mine for it for now is because we don't have an automated way of making it yet. To make it, the easiest way is probably an igneous extruder for now, but we have to make lava for that. And while technically we can melt cobblestone for lava, it takes 300,000 RF. So that kind of leads me into what I want to start with today for our first project. And that would be to move our quarry, which has now finished running once again, to the nether. There's a bunch of resources from the nether that we need, namely glowstone. We have very little of that, and nether quartz. We also have very little of that. As a side product, we'll pick up netherrack and we'll pick up soul sand, which we also don't have much of. So, yeah, I think it's time we moved our quarry to the nether. Now, because, going between dimensions is hard, I mean, it's not that hard, but it's annoying enough that I made the RF Tools teleportation network. And I have a charge porter bound to the one in the base. So no matter where I am, if I want to come home, bam, we're home. Alright, so anyways, before we can actually go to the nether, we're going to need some way to send, well, let's take the quarry with us. I'll run the fortune quarry just because for stuff like nether quartz, the fortune helps. So we'll have to take our builder with us, and we'll need some way to send both energy and items. So let's make quantum or what are they called? The entangled teleporter. That's the mechanism one. What's Ender Isles called? Here we go. Dimensional transceivers. Updating the pack apparently clears all your JAI bookmarks, which is unfortunate. Anyways, we need at least 2 of these. One for each end. So looks like we can just auto-craft them. While those craft, now that we have enough resources, I'm going to go ahead and put all our acceleration upgrades in these. Before we go to the nether to actually set up our quarry, we need to make some preparations. First, we need to entangle some singularities. This is done so that we can access our ME network in the, in the other dimensions. So I think we need to throw an ender dust and a singularity on the ground and cause an explosion nearby. Kaboom. Well, it does damage blocks. Alright, whatever. Next up, we need to set up a way to send power. So we have our dimensional transceivers built. We have to place them somewhere. I'll put it on producer. No, they're consumers. I'll put them on consumer side. So it needs a capacitor. It uses a little bit of energy passively, I think, but small price to pay. And it can send quite a bit of power. So we need to assign it a channel. How does this work? So these are buffers and these are channels. Okay, so we have different channels for energy, items, and fluids. But energy, we only need really one energy channel. We want this to send, and we don't want this to receive items. So we'll leave that alone. Cool. We'll also want to set up our overworld side of the quantum link chamber. So it's this multi-block of a bunch of quantum rings and a link chamber. We put 1/2 of our quantum entangled singularity in here. We'll take the other half with us to the nether and build it on that side. The other one here I'm planning to use in the end. Some other supplies we'll need then is we'll need a memory card preset to one of these P2P channels or P2P tunnels, and a tunnel for the other side, energy acceptor, and an ME terminal. Let's grab one of those. I thought I made one. All right, I had to. There we go. ME crafting terminal for the other side. Besides that, I think we're. Oh, I want matter, at least a receiver for the other side. I don't necessarily need a matter sender thingy because I can just teleport back to the overworld. Alright, so let's head to the nether and find a place to build our quarry. For things like this, I tend to like to put it on the roof of the nether. And I usually find the easiest way to get up there is by using the Staff of Traveling. It's, I think that did it? Nope, not quite. You, generally speaking, point it at the corner for a while and click. If you try to point it at the bedrock, it doesn't work. But if you point it just like at the corner, you usually eventually get through in a few tries. Eventually. Or you suffocate to death, one or the other. I don't know if Ender.io patched it or... Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Hold on, I'm out of here. Please don't die. Well, that was awkward. Yeah, I don't know if Ender.io patched it or if another mod patched it. But it's awfully difficult to get on top of the nether in this pack. Let me try some other ideas. Alright, I made 10 red heart containers, so I have 10 more hearts. And I think we should just be good to try this again. So first one gets you stuck inside, and yep, now we're above. And whoa, wait, you take wither above here? That's not cool. I guess we're not supposed to be above the nether. Wait, no, I'm not wither. Okay, maybe you take wither while you're in the bedrock, and once I got through, I'm good. I'm gonna hang out a second, make sure I'm, there's not another mod reapplying wither to me as a deterrent. All right, looks like we're good. If you need flat terrain to build on, it doesn't get much better than up here. So anyways, our portal is right down there. So when we set up our quarry, we want to avoid, quarrying our portal. That's bad for pretty obvious reasons. But first of all, let's set up our teleporter here because getting through the bedrock's difficult enough. I don't want to do it again. So dimensional transceiver, power. I want to receive energy. And I want a matter receiver. We'll just put it a block away. Cool. So now, let's see, nether roof. So now if I have to get back here, I can go back to our main base. Oh, I didn't chunk load it. I hope that doesn't matter. And we can dial you to there and teleport. Much easier than trying to get through the bedrock. Next up, I want to send the ME network over to here. The quantum ring will transfer like ME channels, but it will not transfer power. So we need an energy acceptor on this side as well. We should see this power up. I also put our singularity in there. There we go, one channel in use. So now let's plug in our terminal just so I can access all our items if needed. Awesome. So I think the only significant decision we have to make is whether or not we want to keep or not keep the netherrack. The thing that pushes me towards keeping it is we have to make lava to, automate obsidian, and melting netherrack only takes 60,000 RF, whereas if we were to melt cobble instead, it takes 300,000. So it'll cost like an extra 1,000-ish RF to dig it up, but then we save over 200,000 RF when we go to turn it into lava. Also, I think it's compressible, so we can store a tremendous amount in another rack and compacted drawers. So I guess with that in mind, let's keep it. All we have to do now is set the shape card. Let's check our axes. Let's dig on this, hold on. So from here, yeah, let's dig this corner. So that's -x, positive z. -x, positive z, that was already positive. And our y level is 128, so let's call it 130 and minus half of that. Put you in and preview. I expect it to be over here-ish. Maybe? Is it somewhere else? 1 second. There we go. That ought to do it. The settings I have are, where do I see it? 132 minus 65. So let's turn it on, see what I get. We can turn the preview off. All right, we get a lot of netherrack. But besides that, I guess I should go ahead and blacklist the plants mods too. I don't care for their trees, right? I brought a separate filter here just because I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave our overworld filter intact in case I want to record the overworld again. So let's see. We'll blacklist the plants mod by mod. That's still on whitelist, isn't it? No, it's on blacklist. All right. Mod blacklist. Perfect. Put you here. We'll double check there's nothing here that needs to be blacklisted. And let's turn you back on. Anyways, this takes extremely quickly. I'm actually going to have a hard time moving items from this chest into this dimensional transceiver fast enough. Let me think of a solution. I think I'll settle for extracting out of 3 sides of this with max upgraded conduits. Oops, I have to actually put the upgrades in. And that'll do 3 stacks per operation effectively. It might still be slightly slower than the builder, but that's fine. We jam all the items into here, and then I'll have to go to the overworld side and move these items from the dimensional transceiver into the drawer. So first, let's chunk load this. Silly me, I built across a chunk border, so I have to use 2 chunks. But whatever. If we run out of loadable chunks through this, we can use the extra utilities chunk loader. So let's leave you on and head back to the overworld. You know what? I changed my mind. Instead of using dimensional transceivers to send items, let's just use ender chests. That gets rid of half of the item push-pull problem. You know, we still have to pull items on one side, but I don't have to push it on the other. Since we're coming from the nether, whoopsies, I'll make them red nether chests. Oh god, I hate my life. Alright, let me fix this. Now just replace this chest with an ender chest. Unfortunately, I have to break it, so items get to spill everywhere. Anyways, I'll just manually dump these items in the ME network. It'll clog our stuff a little bit, but no biggie. Alright, so now let's head back to the overworld and give these items a new home. Alright, let's start putting items in drawers. Once again, I hope most of the stuff we get a lot of is compactable, but if not the end of the world. Let's see, cobalt ore. That's probably not compactable. Anyways, I'm going to go through as, new items come in and assign them to their homes. Alright, everything's been assigned a home, and to keep up with the rate that the quarry is producing items, I'm extracting out of all 6 sides of this ender chest with max upgrade item conduits. But seems to be able to keep up. Most of the items we're getting are these netherrack, which I don't have a void on yet. Definitely want a void upgrade on that. Make sure all these are upgraded. Alright, so yeah, all these are being stored in voided drawers. If it fills up, it voids, no biggie. So next, I want to make sure we auto-process the ores. Sadly, we haven't gotten any... Oh, there's a new item. We haven't gotten any netherrack yet. Or not netherrack, glowstone. Well, I guess it's inevitably going to show up sooner or later. So the nether ores, cobalt and ardite ore, are both pulverizable or signalable. And then netherite ore, we just have to cook in a furnace. There's no way to double it, just like the other Divine RPG ores. So we should see all these spring back into action. And I guess I have to assign slots on this side as well. Ardite, cobalt, and who has netherite? Someone has, bound to have it. This is not compactable, is it? Yes, it is. Cool. Alright then. That should take care of our nether quarry for now. From time to time, I'll have to... Oh, look, we have glowstone now. I'll have to come back here and look for new blocks so that I can assign them to our wall. So stuff like, glowstone right there. I guess heat sand. Maybe I should have added wood. I'll go back and add... but I have it in mod mode. Never mind. I'll just add wood to the wall then. I have plenty of these 1x1 slots for it to fit in. Alright. So anyways, this more or less finishes the nether quarry. I'm gonna put a concealment key on this drawer system because I think it's large enough that's causing visual lag. So all a concealment key does is, well, I guess that uses my drawer key. That's not good. I need my drawer key. So anyways, with this minor project out of the way, let's move on to the next thing I want to tackle today. A couple quick asides. I think I figured out why everything feels so laggy today. When I updated the pack, I forgot that updating tends to reset the config setting for force threaded chunk loading or chunk rendering. Setting that to true almost always gives a significant FPS increase. At least if you have a modern-ish computer. So anyways, the next thing is that our that quarry in the nether, because we're paying for all the netherrack blocks, uses a lot of power. And that's where we're on our last drops. So I've already upgraded our turbine to be max size here. An individual turbine can only support 50, or individual gas turbine can only support 50 individual turbines for a maximum of 2,500 RF a tick. So, or 25,000. So I guess we have to build a second one, but I don't know if we have enough Indarium. Oh, we have 800. Okay. Let's just build another turbine then. Let's see, can I build another 50 of these? I can't, but I can build like 40. Good enough for now. Alright, here's our second generator. It's only 40 turbines, so we have a little bit of room left to grow. 20k RF a tick. 11 millibuckets a tick. Conveniently, this is 14. This is 11. 11 plus 14 is 25, which is exactly the rate that we produce syngas at. Now, of course, peak consumption can exceed average, or if we have more turbines, it's fine for peak consumption to exceed average production as long as average consumption doesn't exceed average production. But nonetheless, we should now observe that we are netting energy. And let's see, we are producing a total of 45, and I think these cables transfer 20,000 per connection. So yeah, 3 connections is enough to allow full energy transfer. Perfect. Alright, so anyways, power situation more or less taken care of. Let's go to the end and set up our ME system there too, because we have to, I guess we don't have to, but I want to set up a mob farm in the end. One of the components we need in the end, or for the farm in the end, is a attractor crystal. And to build that, we need to shove a villager's soul into an emerald. So, sorry villager, we're gonna use you for this. While I'm at it, I may as well snag a couple more, because this is a village I've thoroughly desecrated. Where are you at? Villager, meet emerald. Sorry, not sorry. So I was initially planning on killing the mobs with a mob crusher, but that takes a bound blade, which requires a bit more, requires a bit more progression through both Divine RPG and Blood Magic 4. So instead, we'll just use our old standby, the Diamond Spike, which looks like I have to craft a few more of. I've decided that I dislike the, these dimensional transceivers enough that I'd rather use power cells. So RF Tools power cells have a much easier crafting recipe, and there's really no trick to them. The only thing is we need a little bit of prismarine, which comes from mining prismarine blocks, which came from a ocean monument some 700 blocks away. So anyways, these output 5000 RF aside. They have the advantage of not having to like pay a constant upkeep even when not doing anything, which is nice. So with that, they link via these power cell cards. So you bring a card with me and another power cell. All right, so let's head over to the end. Hopefully this will be the last time I have to fly these 1600 blocks to get there. After this, ideally we'll be able to teleport there. All right, I'll build here over the void. We could build closer to the main island. It won't have much downside, except while while I'm building, I'll probably be assaulted by those stupid ender triplets that shoot like gas fireballs at me. I'm not particularly keen on that. So yeah, we'll just build out here. So we have a bit of a problem. These ender watchers are still spawning, and they seem to take up the aggro from our attractor obelisk. Let's see, yeah, it's active, but the obelisk seems unable to pull them, probably because they're, not movable. So I'm hoping I can block their spawns with a aversion obelisk. This needs a little bit of power, so let's put it here and give you power. And let's make sure the range is large enough. Ooh, that's huge. Do I need it to go this far out? Probably not. Whatever, I'll leave it as is. And I'm hoping that once I kill, I guess I have to clean up the ones that have already spawned. But hoping that once I kill these, no more will spawn in. Let's see if that works out. Alright, that seems to work. So you want to prevent the spawning of watchers and ender triplets. Those are like the little eye guys and the flying fireball guys. And let everything else spawn. I think these are just out of range, which is why they're still spawning. But range won't be an issue when I'm, not here. Right now I'm spawning them just on like natural darkness, but I'll put cursed earth there when I'm done building. So everything else will spawn on this dirt platform. In fact, we should be good to cursed earth it up now, I think. I hope I don't regret this decision, but I can just drop a drop of evil here. And that should start spawning endermen. Ooh, it's spawning these again though. Huh. Maybe cursed earth spawns. That's unfortunate. Cursed earth spawns seem to ignore. Yeah, it seems to ignore the limitations of the inhibitor. Well then, I guess we're back to square one to find a alternate solution. Alright, so it seems like the Cursed Earth will only spawn watchers on like directly above it, and they can still be pushed by vector plates. So by using vector plates, they'll get pushed into the spikes. The other mobs between the vector plates and their own aggro logic from the attractor obelisk will eventually run into the spikes and die. And man, is this loud. I already have my mob sounds set to 1%. Anyways, and then by surrounding the whole thing in a box, the ender triplets can't get out. And as long as they're in the box, they'll eventually also get sucked to the center where they get slaughtered by the spikes. Then drops will get collected, an end portal, into this ender chest, or this diamond chest for now. I'll probably set up a drawer system right here and hook it up to our AE system with a storage bus. But I think that should quite cleanly handle a mob farm in the end. And since it's Cursed Earth based, I don't have to actually be here for it to work. So I'm going to set up the drawers just to hold the items and then, step away for a couple minutes and make sure that it is indeed spawning mobs when I'm not in the dimension. Alright, we're all slotted up and all hooked up. Let's confirm that we can actually see these ender pearls. Let's see, 522, and I think most of those are in here. 455, so yeah. Now all we have to do, I guess, is let's try leaving the dimension and see if the number still keeps going up. Alright, so just under 530. I confirm is trunk loaded. So, teleport out. Alright, and sleep the night away. Alright, so how many do we have? 538, and let's see if we can catch it going up. There we go, 539. Perfect. So, yeah, okay. So this will serve as a foundation for our Ender Pearl production. I think at some point I'll still plan on replacing those spikes with the mob grinder or the mob masher, because I think that kills them with fortune, which should result in slightly more Ender Pearls. But this will provide a passive and renewable source of Ender Pearls to use to make things like Enderium and, Vibrant Alloy and that kind of stuff. Neat. In completely unrelated news, I discovered that translocators are apparently part of the pack. I must have missed them so far. That would have been the ideal, well, it would have been an ideal solution for moving a lot of items very quickly. But, oh well. I'll just keep that in mind going forward. I discovered in Project Ozone that these are pretty expensive. Not in terms of like the recipe's fine, but in terms of how much of your tick time they take up. So I guess I'll use them sparingly. But for something that involves moving a lot of items very quickly, that's exactly what they're perfect for. In any event, I made one small change to our farm here, and that was I took the soul vials for Enderman and Ender Watchers out of the attractor obelisk up there. You can access it by breaking that power cell, but I think that eliminates a problem where like the mobs were getting stuck between their own AI versus the vector plates, and they were like running in circles. So I think that fixes that, which should hopefully increase our rates a little bit. Not that I think we really need it, but I mean, more spawns are better, right? So with that, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode. I'm glad we were able to automate the collection of a couple key resources. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.